Hello everybody, it's Nancy News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking updates today. So the first news is coming from Putin. So Putin gave an interview to a Mongolian newspaper by the name of Ondor. So ahead of his visit to Mongolia, which is actually meant to be tomorrow. So I'm pretty sure tomorrow Putin is making his way to Mongolia. So during the visit, Putin is planning to take part in the anniversary celebration over the victory over Japanese militarists at the Khalkhin Gol. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So it's some Russian and Mongolian battle, apparently fought in probably at Manchukuo or something. But he stated within this newspaper that our people remain deeply grateful for the support Mongolia provided during the Great Patriotic War. So if you don't know, the Great Patriotic War, it's the Russian version of saying World War II, so the German invasion of the Soviet Union. And he stated that, and continues to honor the memory of our joint victories over the Kwantung Army in the summer of 1945, the president emphasized. Russia and Mongolia are linked by decades of fruitful cooperation in nearly all areas, Putin stated. So, Putin also talked a little bit about Ukraine within this Mongolian newspaper. So he stated for many years, millions of civilians in the Donbass have been subjected to genocide. Hatred of everything Russian has become the official ideology of Ukraine. The West views Ukraine as a weapon in its fight against Russia. Moscow is fully aware of this and will continue its special military operation to ensure its own security, stated Putin. The tragedy of Ukraine lies in the West's anti-Russian policies, which have turned Ukraine into a bargaining chip for its geopolitical ambitions. The West has sought control over Ukraine for decades, funding nationalists and anti-Russian organizations. Today we are witnessing inevitable outcome of the West's destruction strategy in Ukraine. So this is what he stated in the Mongolian newspaper. And now let's turn our heads to some more Russian politics that's coming out of Russia. So Russia is going to change its nuclear doctrine due to the West escalation course, quote unquote. So Russia will change its nuclear doctrine based on the analysis of the recent conflicts and the actions of the West in connection with the special military operation. This was stated by the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister, Sergei Ravkov. So Russia will be changing its nuclear doctrine. If we remember, we talked about how the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, was stating that they were going to change the nuclear doctrine, so it seems that it is coming true. So Russia will change its nuclear doctrine. And we've also got news coming from the United Aircraft Corporation. So the UAC, United Aircraft Corporation, have delivered a new batch of Su-34 aircrafts to the Russian aerospace forces. So Russia always states that it's delivered a batch, and it never really gives us the actual number of how much is in this batch. So usually it's 4 to 6, but this video only shows us 2 Su-34s. So maybe this is the batch. Maybe only 2 Su-34s have joined the Air Force of Russia, which is still a very big boost to the Russian Air Force. Now let's go into the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The Russian Minister Sergei Lavrov stated that Russia will not negotiate with Russia over territories in the Kursk region. He emphasized that Russia does not discuss its own territory with anyone. Now let's head to some Ukrainian updates. So the Ukrainian Defense Minister Umarov stated that the dismissal of the former commander of the Ukrainian Air Force is not related to the crash of the F-16 fighter. So if you guys remember, Zelensky dismissed the commander of the Ukrainian Air Force. Now Umarov is stating that this wasn't a part of the F-16 incident that happened a couple of days ago. So I'll just state word by word what he stated. He stated that I would probably say that this is a rotation. these are two separate issues at this stage. I would not connect them. So he's just stating that this is a rotation of power to get maybe some new ideas in. So Ukraine is denying that he was replaced because of the F-16 incident. And while on the topic of the US incident, the US officials say it's unlikely that the Ukrainian F-16 was shot down by friendly fire from Patriot missile systems. Two senior US military officials stated on Saturday that friendly fire was probably not the cause of the F-16 crash. According to them, American and Ukrainian investigators are considering a number of possibilities, including technical failure or pilot error. So we still haven't actually got the full story about this F-16 crashing or shot down or malfunctioned, I don't know. But right now, the US is stating that it could have been just a pilot error or a technical error. So no Russian missile actually hit it, and there was apparently no friendly fire. I don't know yet. But what I do know is that the Netherlands will provide Ukraine with 28 armoured amphibious vehicles called the Viking. So the Dutch Marines have trained the Ukrainian military to use these vehicles, according to the defence minister of the Netherlands. This will help keep Russia at bay. We've actually got videos of these Viking vehicles. So you can see here, it's an amphibious vehicle and actually crosses huge amounts of water, actually quite effectively. So if you can see here, your bottom left corner, we can just see the work of this. So it seems to have like a trailer on the back where it would carry troops. So obviously this will become very handy in the Kherson front, or maybe Ukraine may be doing a landing at this nuclear power plant here. We've also got news coming from Ukraine that the United States will provide Ukraine with $800 million to restore energy, stated the first Deputy Prime Minister of the economy. And the Romanian Parliament is to consider on September the 2nd, so today, a bill on the transfer of promised Patriot system to Ukraine. So very big news coming from Ukraine, and I'll keep you updated on that. Not the only thing coming from Ukraine is actually coming from Lithuania. So Lithuanian National Defense Minister stated and calls on the EU members states to allow Ukraine to strike Russia with long-range missiles received from them. And let's go to Finland. So Finland is quite a new NATO member. So the Finnish president actually joined a radio show in Finland called The Hour with the President. So it was on radio, and they actually took some listeners to actually give the president some questions. So one of the people asked him that, is Finland going to deploy nuclear weapons? So NATO nuclear weapons on the territory of Finland. He stated that no, they don't want it, and they don't ask for it. So there will be no nuclear weapons on the territory of Finland, while NATO nuclear weapons on the territory of Finland, according to the President of Finland. We've also got news coming from Denmark that the Danish Minister of Justice, so Peter Hummelgaard, I'm not very good at pronouncing these Danish names, but he says that Denmark could ban Signal, Telegram, WhatsApp, and other end-to-end encrypted messaging services in order to fight organized crime. So if Telegram and WhatsApp and other messaging apps is banned, then don't be surprised. But now let's actually head to Germany. So in this German state, I think it's called state in Germany, it's not an oblast, I don't think, but there's been elections in this state, in Hungary, I think that's how you state it, where the most radical sector of the party is based, the AfD. So this is a right party in the German political system, and they have just won for the first time. So this is a nationalist party, so this party in Germany, for the first time since 1933, the Nationalist Party is set to have been elected to control a German region. So I actually don't know much about what's happening here, but all I know right now is that Germany has apparently elected for this region a right party. So I don't know, but I'll keep you updated on this. We've also got news coming from Hungary. So today the first Ukrainian school was actually opened in Hungary. The head of the Transpithia and Administration reported it is located in Budapest. So children will be able to study from grade 1 to grade 12 in Ukrainian with parallel studies of Hungarian as a foreign language. So the school is financed by the Hungarian budget. It was opened in the accordance with the agreement reached at a meeting between Viktor Orban, the president of Hungary, and Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. So this school will be teaching Ukrainians the language of Ukrainian, and I'll keep you updated with that. So it's the first Ukrainian school opened in Hungary. Now let's head to Serbia, which we talked about yesterday, how Serbia is going to buy 12 Rafale fighter jets off France for about $3 billion. So the Serbian Deputy Prime Minister stated that Serbia's agreement to buy Rafale fighter jets from France will not worsen relations between Belgrade and Moscow. Serbia remains military neutral and will not join any anti-Russian themes or any form of anti-Russian sanctions. So Serbia remains neutral in everything so far. Now let's head to NATO, where NATO countries will have to increase their military spending to 3% of GDP and above, according to the NATO Deputy Secretary General Angus Lapsey. So, according to him, NATO countries will have to increase their military spendings to 3% of the GDP and maybe above. Now let's head to probably one of the biggest news today. So one of the biggest news today is coming from Bloomberg, the news agency Bloomberg. So Bloomberg is stating that Turkey has officially submitted an application to join BRICS. So a union of 9 states: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the UAE, Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia. These are the current BRICS members. So Turkey has officially submitted an application to join BRICS. Now let's head to some Armenian-Azerbaijani news. So the Armenian-Azerbaijan are on the verge of a peaceful deal. So according to the Armenian Prime Minister, announced on Saturday that his government has offered Azerbaijan to sign the latest draft agreements as a full peace deal, claiming that 13 out of the 17 articles are already fully agreed upon. So very big breakthrough, and it seems that Azerbaijan and Armenia are on the verge of creating a full-on peace treaty, so a peace deal. Now let's head to Azerbaijan. So Azerbaijan, the Azerbaijani parliamentary elections have taken place. So Azerbaijan's ruling New Azerbaijan Party, led by the President Aliyev, secured 68 out of 125 seats in the country parliamentary elections. So he's going to stay as the president of Azerbaijan, and his party secures his place in Azerbaijan. And now let's head to Georgia, where we've got some German and Georgian news. So German exports of cars and car parts to Georgia have surged by 620% compared to levels before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, according to the economist Robin Brooks. So Brooks argues that these vehicles are likely being re-exported to Russia, supporting Russia's invasion and military economy. Brooks argued that these vehicles are likely being re-exported to Russia, supporting the Russia's military economy, and he actually criticized Berlin for allowing this to continue, calling it a disgraceful nonsense, and accusing German authorities of inaction over the past 2 years. So according to this German economist, apparently Georgia are buying German cars and re-exporting them to Russia, according to this German man. Now let's head to Israel, where we've gotten probably one of the biggest news today. So, an IDF spokesman stated that hostages were murdered by Hamas shortly before IDF rescued them. So, Israel has confirmed the 6 hostages that were taken at the October 7th music festival. So, these 6 people you can see on your screen, these were the people who were taken at the music festival by Hamas militants and brought to Gaza. So, apparently, according to the IDF spokesman, Israel was conducting a rescue mission in the city of Rafah to rescue these 6 civilians. But Israel has recovered 6 bodies after Hamas hostage rescue attempt. So the IDF confirms the 6 bodies had been returned to Israel after being found underground in the border city of Rafah, claiming that they had been brutally murdered by Hamas militants shortly before the rescue attempts to save them was launched. Hamas officials insisted that their deaths were caused by Israeli forces as they launched their rescue operation. So this is a very big thing that's happened. So Israel was stating that Hamas executed these 6 civilians, and Hamas is stating that Israel actually killed them during the crossfire. So it's been a very big thing. So the Israeli defense minister stated that if we want the kidnapped people alive, we do not have time. So Burkina Faso and the Telegraph are stating that at least 100 Russian mercenaries fighting in Burkina Faso was sent to help in the battle in the Kursk Oblast against the Ukrainian army. So yesterday news was correct. So Russia is withdrawing a bit of forces from Burkina Faso to actually help against the the Ukrainian offensive in the Kursk region. So it's a true story. Now let's head to Iran. That Iran is actually taking concrete measures to tackle Afghanistan border crossings. So Iran has just commenced the building of a 300-kilometer concrete wall with barbed wire along its border with Afghanistan to curb illegal immigration. The $3 billion project is expected to finish in 3 years. The Iranian authorities believe that sealing the border will significantly reduce the cross-border terrorist activities and smuggling operations that have escalated since the Taliban's rise to power. So we've got some videos of this. Iran is fully committed of building this wall, so it's a huge 300 kilometer long wall. But if we actually measure this, is not actually the full length of Afghanistan. So 300 kilometers is this long, so it's not obviously the full border of Afghanistan, but it's a big chunk of Afghanistan's border, and the Iranian border is going to be walled off. Now let's head to the South China Sea, where we've got news that a Chinese Coast Guard vessel has rammed into a Philippine Coast Guard ship, the PCG, near the Escunda Shoal, so which is actually right here. So the Chinese ship, if you can see here in the bottom left corner, rams into the Philippine ship. So both sides are actually blaming each other of starting this. But one thing's sure is that the escalation in the South China Sea is rising. And we've got news that the Philippines and Vietnam is to sign a defense agreement. So we've got a bit of rumors, a bit of news that the Philippines and Vietnam will sign a defense cooperation agreement on Friday, the Office Philippines president stated. So it's a significant step by the two countries that have long opposed China's actions in the South China Sea. Now let's head to Kazakhstan and China. So Kazakhstan and China are discussing right now cooperation in the oil and gas and energy sectors. So two delegations were held in Beijing, where both countries are discussing gas and energy cooperation. Now let's head to the Taiwanese military exercises. So we've got some news and some recent Taiwanese footage that Taiwan's military are doing some exercises near the coast. So very interesting news, but the only the videos we've actually got from this is that recent Taiwanese exercises have revealed an extremely low effectiveness of American TOW-2 anti-tank guided missiles. So there's been a lot of videos actually coming out on the Taiwanese army of failure or malfunctions in equipment. So the Taiwanese army completely showed us this footage of failure in this American system. We don't know if it's actually the American system or just these are just new people learning on this system. We don't know. And the last news coming today is coming from the US statements of former US President Donald Trump. So the former US President Donald Trump stated that getting along Russia is a good thing, not a bad thing. Now, that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Nancy News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.